Hello, good morning. Ah. Oh. Indeed, I'm very happy meeting with, I think mainly Ladakhi brothers and sisters. I would like to say uh, a few minutes, I think perhaps I think 10, 15 minutes. Then I would like to take some questions and answer through that way more as a interaction. So I prefer that. So then, firstly, whenever I give talk with people, firstly, say we all human being. On that level, entire 7 billion human beings are same. Emotionally, mentally, physically. And all want happy life. Everyone do not want problem or disturbances. And everyone have a right to have happy life, to achieve happy life. So on that level, hardly no point to quarrel, to fight each other. Yeah. Then, and also, everybody, 7 billion human beings, see, we come from our mother, or from parent, and mainly from mother. Everyone, you see, get immense affection from our mother. And we nurtured by mother's milk. That is human nature. So as soon as we born, the child, infant is a child, no idea who is that person. What? Oh. But biologically, you see, emotionally, you see, very much sort of also the closeness feeling, or sort of 100% faith or trust towards the mother. And mother side also, you see, provide maximum sort of affection to the child. So that's where our life starts. So according to some medical scientists, they say after birth, next few weeks, simply mother's physical touch is crucial factor for proper enlargement about our brain. Other animals also, it's the same way. Again, you see, according some scientists, you see, they experimented monkeys, also the young monkey, some, you see, separate from their mother, and some with mother. Then after a few weeks, you see, they observed those young monkey who separate from their mother, always very bad mood, always quarrel. The monkey with mother, playful, like that. So we human beings also same. So we 7 billion human beings, they actually have same potential, you see, to sort of to develop sense of concern of others' well-being. Because we received maximum sense of care from our mother, from our sort of friend. So any person, any animal who received that is also have the potential to show other sense of concern. That we call compassion or love. So that's a biological factor, not come from religious faith. That kind of sort of certain level of emotion come from biological factor. I think, generally speaking, not due to blessing of Buddha. Simply, it is biological factor. See, we need that. The children or youngster, they cannot survive by themselves. So they need care from other. Sort of effort caring. That come from certain motivation. That's love, affection. I think in nearly one monastery where east side lay they understood it. I think Tangna sort of monastery near mountain. You see, on the mountain, you see some sort of hole, some the yellow duck or ngangba. Tatak monastery or Takta monastery. So when I saw that, I reflect, this is my own sort of experience when I was in Tibet. The Potala, this is some sort of what's the Lungru Passage
for winds.
Ah.
Passage for winds.
Oh, pass. The should okay.
Passage for winds.
Oh, you see, that Ngangpa Serbo used to create nest. Then Tibetan month, about third month, the Osumba, they hatch their sort of youngster, and then thrown. I mean, they Ngangpa, like other birds, no milk. Not like, you see, some birds, you see, they keep their youngster in the nest. You see, the parent bring food, or pigeon, or all these, you see, kasa, all these different sort of birds. Usually, you see, carry, the parent, you see, bring foods. That, see, no, that kind of practice. So only, I think, pigeon, also, you see, I noticed, you see, the parent, you see, carry some food, some kind of liquid in their stomach, and then, you see, putting in their youngster's mouth, like that. Clear? So that, Ngangpa Serbo, I think most of these Ngangpa, not do that. Therefore, the youngster, I think after hatching, perhaps 1 or 2 days, then simply thrown from the nest. I think few stories. then, you see, they have to sort of walk up to some sort of pond. So therefore, I asked Rinpoche, Chungkung Rinpoche, I give some money, I put some money on his hand, and then during this hatching period, please, you see, take care, you see, those youngsters. Otherwise, from that mountain, from that rocky area, till up to the main this river, very difficult, very difficult. So like that. So when I was in Tibet, because you see, from Potala and up to nearest sort of pond, quite some distance. And while they're walking, some eagles, some crows, some dogs, they usually take. Therefore, I asked, some people who take care about Potala, they collect, you see, these youngsters and then brought to Nupulinga and then kept. So when they bring the youngster in a sort of basket, the mother hold the way from Potala up to Nupulinga, some distance walking, some distance little flying, but you should follow that basket where their youngster used to remain there. So mother really sort of, such sort of affection, they're ready to sacrifice her own life in order to sake of their youngster. This does not come from religious faith or rule of law. No rule, no police, no security personnel, isn't it? Simply biological factor, like that. So we are also same. Basically, on that level, we are same. You see, we survived by full sort of affection, full care, out of affection from our parent and particularly our mother. So that is the that kind of compassion or love is biological factor. Now, we human beings, we have this marvelous intelligence. So the biological factor sort of love take as a seed, then with help of human intelligence, that compassion then can promote another level. Now, differences, biological factor of affection is biased. Only relatives or those things, those people who nice to you. So that kind of sort of affection never sort of reach our enemy, troublemaker. Instead of affection, anger comes. Clear? And with help of intelligence, you see, that seed further promote the awareness, more compassionate sort of mind. A person much happier. With sense of compassion, he or she can carry their life very honest, very truthful. With honest, truthful, your life can carry transparent. That brings faith. That brings trust. Trust brings friendship. Okay. So, family level, where trust there, every member of the family feel very happy. Now, for example, you see some very rich family or powerful family. Within the family, some distrust, some suspicion. Then the whole atmosphere of that family no longer peaceful, no longer sort of happy one, always a little bit tense. So we can learn Look, dogs. The dogs, which familiar each other, they live, they sleep very peacefully. Another bigger dog come, suspicion. Immediately atmosphere change. So we are basically animal. And we are mammals, different kind of mammals. And then, top of that, we also, by nature, social animal. Like myself, I think with the name of Dalai Lama, but my life without other sort of friend, I cannot manage. Even because of the breakfast, tea, I cannot manage myself. And minister also, you see, minister's rank. But without your helper, I think one time, when I was very young, my father, quite short temper. So one day, you see, all his sort of cooks and servants, they, something like boycott. So that morning, that day, my father remained fasting. And then all the facilities, you see, come from other sort of labor, like that. That's social. That means social element. Our survival entirely depends on rest of the community. Sometimes we quarrel, but still part of the community. So basis for our own life. Clear. So therefore, now the suspicion. Suspicion brings fear. Fear brings frustration. Frustration creates anger. Anger creates violence. That's the sort of it's system like that. So, other hand, sense of concern, warm-heartedness there. No basis of fear, trust, respect, sense of concern of their well-being. Once we develop genuine sense of concern of well-being of other, then no room to harm, to exploit, to cheating, like that. All these negative emotion, negative activities, you see, come from extreme self-centered attitude. Just think oneself and don't care about other. Then through that way, since you see no respect, no sort of concern about their well-being, so cheating, bully, exploitation, lying, worst case, killing, all these things happen. Clear. So therefore, that I usually call fundamental human values, warm-heartedness here. A person or family or community can be much more happier, peaceful. Nothing to do with religion. Clear. So that's one of my number one commitment. When I give talk, America, Europe, Latin America, Japan, Australia, and everywhere, when I give talk, I always consider, same human being, same human brothers, sisters, no differences. Now, for example, here, when I talk to you, I just consider, same human being. On that level, no differences. No barrier. If I am versus I'm Tibetan, you are Ladakhi. Or perhaps in some non-Buddhist, then I'm Buddhist, such people, non-Buddhist. That kind of attitude automatically creates some kind of barrier, some distance. So that's the basis of trouble. among Ladakhis, Muslims, Buddhists, Christian, okay, I think small population, but sometimes it's a problem. Because you too much emphasis on the secondary level of Buddhist, non-Buddhist, like that. Forget that. We're all Ladakhis. No basis of fighting, quarrel. Clear? If we too much emphasis secondary differences, secondary level of differences, then within Buddhist, Giluba, Nyingmaba, Drukba, Digung, so many differences. And then, even you see same Giluba, then different monasteries. Then within same monastery, then the social background, that family is order. Shakzang Khazri.
People who live together in the same house.
That monk, rich, powerful, we are poor. Again, you see differences like that. Clear? Then, no end. We always find some differences. That's minor. The basic thing is we are same human being. That's important. So, I always talk, make clear. We are same human being. The ultimate source of happiness, joyfulness, depend on friendship. The ultimate source of friendship is warm-heartedness, not money, not power. Clear? So I want to share with you this number one. Then number two, then on the level of I'm Buddhist, Buddhist monk, Buddhist practitioner. Then all different religious traditions, 1,000 years, particularly in this country, beside homegrown different religions, that is Sangha sort of tradition, and then Jain tradition, and then Buddhist tradition, and then some other sort of tradition, latest, the Sikhism, all these homegrown religions. Among the Hindus, there are many, according our sort of text, Tibetan text, mainly 5 different sort of school of thought. So like that. These are homegrown religion. Then eventually, Parsi from ancient Iran, who follow Zoroastrian, they came. Then Jewish community come. Judaism came. Islam, Christianity. So almost all major world religious tradition now here in this country. That also last at least I think around 2,000 years. These different religious traditions. So therefore, except you see some pockets here and there, this is some crisis due to different religious faith. But that's quite understandable. Over around, you see, billion population. Some mischievous people, always you see, understandable. You see some people there. Otherwise, you see, overall, or recently, last year, one occasion, I visit Jodhpur area, Rajasthan, Jodhpur. One Romanian, you see, I met in the hotel. You see, he told me he carries some research work about religious harmony in this country. He told me he found one Muslim village. Village means at least 2,000-3,000 population, I think. There are only 3 Hindu families. But these 3 Hindu families, no fear. Very friendly, rest of the Muslim community. So that's India. In Kerala, you see, I think one Hindu family, Christian family, I think Jain family, and like that, Christian, well, side by side. It's no problem. So that's really India's, I think, wonderful sort of tradition. It's really not only ancient sort of tradition, but also very relevant to today's world. So you Ladakhi also, there are last several centuries, you see, Muslim community there, then some Christians there. Any Jews? No, no Jew. So traditionally no Hindus. Some Jains?
No Jains. No Jains. Hindus, they are, those are not permanently settled. But they've been doing their business in the
That's right. That's right. Oh, yes. Right, like that. So traditionally, I really see impressed the Ladakhi people. Generally, very harmonious. It's live harmoniously. Very good. Very good. Occasionally, some problems. That's quite understandable. But you should make sort of effort. Should not develop that kind of things on the basis of oneness of Ladakhi. You have to live together, like that. But differences always is possible. Then talk with mutual respect. Then can solve, like that. Then, so that's usually my talk. Talk about secular ethics and religious harmony. Then how many Buddhists here? Raise hand. Okay. Then to Buddhist, I always see the expressing. In modern time, the education really sort of advancing, further develop. So the Buddhist, also the Buddhist faith, if you just remain faith as a sort of tradition, right, or habit, right, then this is not sufficient. Recently, I was in Europe. One of my longtime friend, actually, he as a Christian, as a teacher. And then he spent many, I think, a number of years in India, in South India. He knows Sanskrit. So from time to time, I met him. He came to see me, and this time also. And he told me, among the educated people, usually you see becoming more scientific-minded. So they find it very difficult to accept certain concept of the religion. He told me that. So now we Buddhists also, unless you know the Buddhist system, whole Buddhist system, then you also may feel, some sort of miracles. Then we feel, that's nonsense. About 2 years ago, I was in Japan. One of my very close sort of friend, one Indian, he no faith, very good person, wonderful person. since many years, since his father's time, I know him. So therefore, we become very, very close friend. So he asked me with little shy. he asked me. Firstly, he seek my side some permission, some sort of peculiar question. The question is, he consider my way of thinking is very scientific. So at the same time, I also, believe certain, I also accept, certain sort of, or say, mysterious things, like state oracle, or certain things. He find this is a little contradiction. So he asked me, how, as a sort of scientific-minded Buddhist, but at the same time, certain sort of mysterious things you accept. So he find a little sort of difficult to understand. Then I told him, as a Buddhist, Buddha's time, he against superstitious sort of thing. So Buddhists must accept reality. Just the mental projection things should not accept. Buddha told to his follower, my follower, bhikshus, scholars, bhikshunis should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. 결식 줄다디 개몽다감 캐나 이제 세셔다 세션도 레고다라 나이가 라원사이 귀신 민스 and those six people.
So this verse from the Buddha says that scholars, all scholars and monks, just as gold is tested by cutting, burning, and rubbing, likewise you should test my teaching and take it not out of your devotion to me.
So that's very scientific way of approach. That's why, like Nagarjuna and many other top scholars or top sort of Buddhist masters of Nalanda, particularly Nalanda, they carry that principle. So they examine certain Buddhist teaching. Through investigation, through analyze, they found some Buddhist teaching have some contradictions. Therefore, they say this Buddhist teaching, although taught by Buddha himself, but for certain purpose, we should not accept literally. Right? So therefore, dollar tangi ni.
So the teaching of the Buddha could be divided into known as provisional ones, interpretable ones, and others as definitive teachings.
So therefore, they like Nagarjuna and all those great masters of Nalanda, they wrote a lot of sort of text on the basis of sort of examination, right? On the subject which examine Buddha's own sort of teaching. This, if you accept that, it creates contradiction with our experiment, our sort of analyze, or reasons or logics. So therefore, you see, these Nalanda masters very much emphasize importance of logic. If everything except with faith, then no need logic. Even the Pope, the present Pope, wants to express faith and reason must go together. So Buddhists, 1,000 years, they always go together. And particularly the Pali tradition and the Sanskrit tradition, particularly in Sanskrit tradition, very much emphasis logical approach. So therefore, now, last over 30 years, I had sort of serious sort of engagement with modern scientists in 4 fields: cosmology, neurobiology, quantum physics, then psychology, these 4 fields. So more sort of talk with scientists. Both sides, you see, develop more interest because we're learning each other, mutual learning. Very good. So then, actually, I made sort of categorized, 3 categorized. Conjure and danger, over 230 volumes. You everybody heard, you say no, the conjure and the danger. Conjure means Buddha's own sort of teaching. Danger means the commentary wrote by Indian great masters, great scholars. So therefore, in conjure and danger, if we sort of precisely make differences, then one portion is simply science. What's the reality? What's the reality of the matter? And reality of the mind. So Buddhism is one of the non-theistic religion. No concept of creator. Everything due to its own causes, conditions. So law of causality. Jainism also similar. And one part of Sankhya philosophy also same, law of causality. Law of causality. So therefore, because of this, that happened. Because of that, that happened. Like that. That's just evolution. The Darwinian theory, very similar, like that. So therefore, these are simply science, not faith, science. Then things, if we examine, then there's obvious change there. Obvious change take place only the things are always moving, changing. If things not sort of changing momentarily, then it is impossible to sort of obvious change come. Obvious change happen because in substance, invisible level, momentarily changing. Now that's exactly now atomic sort of level always moving. So that on that reality is the Buddhist concept of impermanence now comes. Impermanence, Buddha state impermanence. So we must believe, no, not that way. On experiment, analyze, things are always moving. So therefore, the Buddhist concept of impermanence develop. Then things, if we investigate the reality, now for example here, the reality of 14th Dalai Lama. You only see my physical, not my mind. So physical, verbal, voice, verbal, and mind. So the Bhikshu Tenzin Gyatso, where Bhikshu Tenzin Gyatso? You really seeing Dalai Lama? Or only Dalai Lama's body? So I think you see Dalai Lama's body. You are hearing Dalai Lama's voice. You cannot see my mind. But through my talk, you can guess, oh, Dalai Lama have that kind of view, that kind of mind. Okay. But then, further question, body, speech, mind belongs to whom? That's Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama's body, Dalai Lama's speech, Dalai Lama's mind. Now, where is the Dalai Lama? Everybody is same. Body, speech, mind, there. But the self, I. Now here you see the Buddhist and non-Buddhist demarcation here. Buddhist concept, because you see, analyze, you can't see. You cannot find I. Therefore, anathema theory comes. All other traditions, even non-theistic religious tradition, like Jainism, believe Atma. So the real demarcation between Buddhist and non-Buddhist is concept of Atma, Buddhist anatma, because you can't find. But that does not mean I, self, does not exist. No. It exists, but the very nature of the existence is dependent on other. So that factor, the Buddhist concept of pattisamuppada, dependency, right? Interconnectedness, interdependency. Now that concept comes. Many scientists really love that concept. No independent existence. Everything due to other factor. So, analyze reality, then the Buddhist concept of interdependency, it developed. So, here, then Buddhist religion, because of that reality, most of our sort of negative emotion, as I mentioned before, anger, hatred. One my American friend, 가서 고민이, 저를 신경 삼죠. 가. No. Paul Ekman 말해. 가. Aaron Beck. When I met him, his age already 84-year-old. He really experienced about, those people who get some trouble, mentally, some kind of. So he told me, when we develop anger, the object which we feel angry, that object appears very negative. But actually, the 90% of that negativeness is mental projection. He's not Buddhist. He's a scientist, a very experienced sort of scientist. He told me. That's exactly, Nagarjuna mentioned that. So one time, I met Indian physicist, nuclear physicist, Raja Raman. One time in Delhi, some conference, he mentioned to me, recently he saw one Nagarjuna's writing. Then he found in that writing the essence of quantum physics mentioned there. As an Indian, he feels very proud. Quantum physics, this country, before 2,000 years, already found that concept. He told me that. So like that. So these are science. And then on the basis of science or reality, then the concept of philosophy developed. Then as now here, now anger, based on some kind of object which essentially our own mental projection. So we call that kind of ignorance. So now Buddhist logic say, any ignorant mind, there always opposite force there. Awareness, the reality, is the opposite or counter force of the ignorance. Like ignorance of A, B, C, D before you study, before you learn. Ignorant. Just one sort of sign. Do not know what is that. After learning, once you learn A, that's A, then the ignorant of A disappear. Like that. Any sort of ignorant subject, right? Through study, get knowledge about that. And then that knowledge also, 3 levels, not just hearing, but through analyze, through something like homework. Then you get firm sort of awareness about that reality. Now that opposite force of that ignorance, clear. So that's the Buddhist, because so that way, then they try to develop wisdom. That's now religion side. So in 300 volumes, or 300 volumes, one portion or basis of the Buddhist teaching, the reality. That is science. We can consider science. Then on top of on that basis, develop certain concepts. That's Buddhist philosophy. Then, according to these factors, now try to change our emotions. That's Buddhist religion. So I usually see talking or telling, Buddhist sort of way is use our intelligence maximum way, analyze with skeptical attitude, then through that way, transformation of our emotion. That's Buddhist way of practice. Clear? So therefore, you must pay more attention, right? Study. You should not consider 300 volumes conjure and danger, should not consider as a sort of something object to respect or offer. Should not consider that. These 300 volumes of conjure danger should consider as a textbook. You must study. My own case, whenever I have time, study, reading these conjure danger. Wonderful, wonderful. So therefore, you must pay more attention. Therefore, I usually say telling Tibetan Buddhist, Chinese Buddhist, Japanese Buddhist, Korean Buddhist, Vietnamese Buddhist, and Thai or Burman, these Buddhists, I usually telling them, now we should be 21st century Buddhist. That means a Buddhist with fuller knowledge about Buddhist system, Buddhist sort of whole Buddhist concept. Then you become 21st century Buddhist. Otherwise, just if you carry some rituals, recite some like money, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. I jokingly telling Tibetan, when you who recite money, of course I also recite money, but without knowing the money, because meaning then you recite 1,000 times or 10,000s like that. So om mani padme hum. Then that person, a little bit hurry, then say money, 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 money. So that sounds like money, money, money. Isn't it? So I think at least a few thousand Tibetans illegally immigrated to America or Canada. These people, these Tibetans, illegally immigrant to foreign countries, not seeking spirituality, but seeking dollar, seeking money. So they recite money, 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 money. That's okay. So I think you Ladakhi also, I think. So therefore, I want to tell you, conclusion, you should pay more attention, study. For that reason, whatever you call Bhutia language or I think Buddha language. I think that's very important. The written language which conjure danger, writing. That language is, I think, as a result of my meeting last now over 50 years, I met a number of Buddhist practitioners, Buddhist scholars from these different Buddhist countries. Now my sort of conclusion is Tibetan language is the best language to explain the whole Buddhist concept, Buddhist philosophy, particularly Nalanda tradition. Pali language not adequate, only Sanskrit language. So among foreign language, the Tibetan language is the best language, most closest language with Sanskrit, like that. So therefore, please pay more attention for study. And with that, because of that, pay some attention about Bodhi language. Okay. Now questions.
Your Holiness, Ladakh is going through a transition phase, and the effect of globalization and modernization has brought a tremendous change in the social and ethical values of the people. So how can we preserve our traditional values and yet go along with modernization and globalization?
Okay. The very meaning of modernization is external things. New buildings, new road, and new machines and new clothes dress like that. I think previously, Ladakhi lady, I think that's extra burden. I think no use, no help. I think better like this, much better. I prefer like that. So these are a part of your tradition, but outdated tradition. And then your lifestyle. You see, some, I think outdated, should adopt the new reality, like that. Then spirituality. Now here, mainly Buddhism. As I mentioned earlier, training of our mind. Mind is concerned. Modern people's emotions, modern people's mind, and 2,500 years ago, you see, the human beings' emotion, mind, basically same. So therefore, Buddhism or Buddha's teaching is actually training our mind to tackle, the better equipped, tackle or destructive emotion. I think you will find in the West really materially highly developed, highly advanced. We Asian countries, including China and India, rushing, copying their sort of lifestyle, like that. That's okay. But among them, and also Europe, and also Japan, materially highly developed, and also modern education, highly developed, but a lot of people. I think one example, one chancellor of big university, I think students, number of students, I think 20, 30,000 students, very famous. Once they asked me my talk to that university. So while I go there, the chancellor accompanied with me. Then gradually, it takes, I think, at least half an hour. So then gradually, you see, he expressed to me some of his problems. Very educated as a chancellor, highly sort of educated. And then his salary, very good, he told me, $1 million, like that. And as a chancellor, a very good fame, respected sort of, because of that position like that. But as a human being, very unhappy person, and deep inside, lonely feeling, he told me. Then I took his hand, and then I share some of my own problems, difficulties, a lot of things I can tell him, a lot of problems. In spite of that, you see, I'm looking these problems this way, that way, different angles like that. Then he gradually, you see, changed his face. Then later I was told, some of his staff member, later you see, told some of my sort of staff, the chancellor, last you see, sometime he prefer remain lonely in dark room. He very sort of reluctant meet people. And eventually, after our meeting, he become very active. Told me like that. So these are the material, the material value, and modern education highly developed, but a lack of training of mind. Therefore, the problem face. So therefore, you should consider Buddhist spirituality is training of mind, not charm. You are like Tibetan monastery. You see the horns are correct. Tung Geling. I did 2 years ago. I was in Lahore. Lahore 말해. PT 수조도 가자. Lahore. This side. So I visit there, give some teaching. So the local monk, I think the follower of Drupa Kagyu. So you see, they, as a form of sort of welcoming me, welcoming. So they kasa. Gelin. So they wear some typical sort of dress, and sort of what's the hat is something very, very, I think you may know, very typical. Like one bird, pubukushu, we usually say pubukushu. What do Ladakhi say? The pubukush, that bird, very, very long beams, like that. So in any way, you see, so I told them, I express, of course, jokingly, I express, now your head looks like the pubukushu's head. So therefore, instead of yelling, better to say, that's better. With Tibetan also, you see, many monasteries, you see, when they carry certain sort of musical sort of instrument, they also dress. These musical, in fact, come from China. So when they perform that, Chinese dress, Chinese hat. Oh, these are not tradition of Nalanda, but degenerate. We Tibetan and some Ladakhis and also some sort of Himalayan range. You see, some monastery, you see, they carry some charms and without and chanting. Good, but without knowing the meaning. Because no study. Like that. So therefore, that should not consider the genuine way of preservation of Buddhism. No. Genuine way of preservation of Buddha Dharma is study and make comparison with modern science and our daily experiences. Through that way, you develop certain new understanding about, new awareness or understanding about the reality of suffering, reality of happiness, reality of life, reality of world, like that. That's the way of preservation of Buddha Dharma, not these traditions. Clear? So no problem. You understand? This one. Next question.
How is wisdom different from intelligence?
Wisdom. Huh? Oh. In Tibetan word, intelligence lo na phaji shirbre.
Tibetan word for intelligence would be shira.
Oh. Now there are many levels of shirab. I think firstly, sometimes you see even negative shirab, negative intelligence also there. Certain intelligence based or mixed with attachment, mixed with hatred, or mixed with ignorance, that kind of intelligence is destructive intelligence. Clear? Now, intelligence itself is neutral. I think the September 11th sort of event in New York and Washington, such sort of action only carried by very smart-minded person, very intelligent. So such work, you see, unless you carry with secrecy and precise sort of plan, step by step, you cannot carry such things. So these people, intelligence is concerned, very smart, but that intelligence combined with hatred, so that intelligence become destructive intelligence. So similarly, intelligence with combination of warm-heartedness or affection or compassion, as I mentioned earlier, unbiased compassion, then that intelligence become constructive. Now here, the awareness or intelligence out of awareness on hearing, that's first level. That's not very stable. That will not bring conviction. Even if conviction comes, that's blind faith. Now the hearing, understanding, awareness on hearing, tujung shiro.
So the understanding that you gain through hearing, listening to others.
That now analyze, like the science of the subject. Firstly, you should learn from teacher's sort of explanation. That's first level. But then, in laboratory, you see, you yourself now experiment. Through that way, you get another level of awareness or understanding. That's Samjung Shiro.
So that is called awareness or understanding gained through reflection.
We Buddhist study, no laboratory, but we use our own brain like laboratory. You see, analyze, and try to look from various different angles that way. So through that way, you get certain understanding. Now that's very firm. That brings certain sort of conviction, entirely based on understanding or reasons. Now that's now very firm. That alone may not affect our emotion, but still further, that may call certain level of wisdom, but still not high level. So then third level of understanding, that's kumjung.
So that's the understanding of gained through meditation practice.
More familiarize or get used. Through that way, then you not only firm understanding, but become very familiar, your mind, So without thinking, without effort, you automatically come. So I think pilot, like pilot, you see, they should learn from hearing, then training. Then once, you see, they get used, you see, without particular sort of kasoda, thinking, simply, you see, automatically, all these sort of kasoda, all these is come more or less, you see, by nature. So that's the third level. So that usually we call wisdom, like that. So next question. 직전에 wisdom 사이드 daily 자주고 면도스는 게 아니라 vipassana 사이드 상동.
So perhaps you could also understand wisdom, vipassana is insight, special insight in a sense.
That we call vipassana, shamatha and vipassana. So that vipassana with help of samadhi or shamatha. So that's real true wisdom, like that. Next question.
Your Holiness, my question is, how can we love without attachment?
Karsa.
How can we love without attachment?
Karsa. Ka. Oh. As I mentioned in my sort of talk, the biased affection or compassion, unbiased compassion. Now here, the first level, biological factor affection, that's very much mixed with chakpa or attachment. So that always limited, biased. So real training of the compassion or karuna, first we should detach. So then no danger of biased sort of biased compassion. So first detach, equal, your friend, your enemy, neutral people. Then go, for example, Ladakhi case is first among your own neighbor, there are some friend, some enemy, some neutral. The equalize, where? Equalize. Friend side, attachment, reduce, detach. That reduce the intensity of anger towards enemy, also automatically reduce, weaken. So equalize all three. Then further goes whole India, whole JK province, people in the Jammu Kashmir, and then whole India, whole Asia, whole world, like that, and whole sentient being. So then here, you see the biased compassion with mixed with attachment never develop that level. Clear? So attachment is opposition, opposite or hindrance of development of indefinite, infinite sort of love, compassion, like that. So actually, all religions, like Islam, never say your friend created by Allah, your enemy not created by Allah. No, say, never say that. All human beings are created by Allah. So on that level, equal. So different way of approach, but more or less this unbiased compassion or love. Christianity or those theistic religion, all theistic religion. One time I was in Tortuk, I mentioned the local, or say the Kajalamat Kasuri, Imam. Oh, you see, he mentioned as a genuine Muslim practitioner should extend love entire creature of Allah. So we Buddhists say entire sentient being. So the theistic religious viewpoint, all created by God. So therefore, since we respect and love God or Allah, therefore entire creatures deserve our love and respect, like that. So, the unbiased love, all major religious tradition, you see, teach same sort of hasda, the same object, but use of a different method. Then takado, last question. One last question now.
I am a surgeon and knows quite well about medical science. I heard that spiritually enlightened beings being knowing the previous life and the karma of a sufferer, can heal a sufferer from his disease. So his question is, what should I do to add this spiritual healing power over my medical education? Can it really help by mixing the science of medicine and spiritualism?
I am quite skeptical about so-called healing power. One time in London, the Royal Albert, that big hall, many years ago, full, the audience, I think, few thousand. Then I told among the audience, perhaps some people come here out of curiosity, then that's okay. And some people may come here with sort of expectation, Dalai Lama have some miracle power. That's a nonsense. Then I told, some, even if they may sort of believe Dalai Lama have healing power. Then I told, I myself very skeptical about so-called healing power. Then I told, if there is someone who really have healing power, then I would like to show is my skin problem. So next day, what I received, some very good ointment for my skin problem. That's the real sort of healing power. So, of course, some exceptional case, you see, there, it's possible. Usually it's those people who claim have sort of healing power. I'm very skeptical. Many years ago, in 1960, so one American, a little bit strange person. He once, told me, I met his few occasions. So one time, he told me he have the power to know other person's mind. Then I asked him, what very moment, what kind of mind, what kind of thought I have. He mentioned something, but totally sort of opposite. So sometimes, people who claim who have healing power, we have to experiment. Is something really reliable? And then okay, we can accept. Just claim. Frankly speaking, sometimes big lamas, big sadhus, they are quite expert to express some sort of pretend they have certain sort of power. I don't like that. That's actually spoiling our Buddhist sort of teaching. Buddhist teaching is a very realistic approach. Sometimes, unfortunately, exploiting the faithful devotees. That I think we should be scientific-minded Buddhist. That's very important. Thank you. So then lastly, you should pay more attention about study. Now those people who cannot read Tibetan, nowadays, more and more books in English now coming. So you should study. You should read more. Clear. And in Ladakh, Samdor Kasa, Rizon Buche, excellent Lama. Excellent. And now some younger generation who study in some of our big monastic institutions like Debung and Sera, their knowledge quite sort of sufficient, quite good. So these you should sort of not necessarily, you consider these are your guru or your lama, simply spiritual brother, and discuss. You Ladakhis, it already started, is some kind of sort of, class, with some knowledgeable person, and discuss, not consider as a lama, but as a spiritual brothers, sisters, like that. That I think very, very helpful, very useful. Few occasions I examine their knowledge, very wonderful. Good, goodbye, thank you.